You're listening to the Gab Street Podcast, Columbus, Ohio's #1 podcast for underground talent. Every week we have new conversations with interesting individuals who contribute to the Columbus economy and its lively culture. You may find just what you're looking for right in your backyard. Let's get right into it.
Let it be known Corey Leo has a ring now.
We got the drip, boys. We got the fucking drip. The Gab Street bling.
Hell yeah.
I could explain this, but then I'd be a fucking nerd. So anyway.
Now you have to, though.
Shit. Okay, this is a ring from the game Dark Souls, actually. Okay. So now I'm not cool anymore. Technically, it's called the Ring of Steel Protection.
Shit.
So
you had to put that, was that give you plus 15 armor?
Dude.
Just to deal with me?
Exactly. Because I know you're going to assault me. No, So, you already know who this guy is if you already know who this guy is, but we're not going to introduce him yet because I have a couple things that I need to talk about this episode. This is episode 58 that we are recording today, and we got a couple of timely things to talk about that have happened recently or today. First of all, that fucking party was bonkers.
Yo, that party was dope.
Okay.
It was super fucking tight.
Yes. This past Saturday, so we're recording this on Wednesday the 4th of March. If you weren't there or you didn't know, we had a party for the 1-year anniversary, whoop whoop, of this show. The actual anniversary was on February 6th, but who gives a shit? And that party was absolutely out of this fucking world. Bonkers.
Yo, it was super, super dope.
Like, possibly one of the best events I have been to in a long time.
Hey, he's saying that because he threw the party. But
I did throw it. So there is no obvious bias in what I'm saying. But
it was dope, man.
Dude, that went so much better than I could have ever expected it to go.
For sure.
And thank you so much to everyone that both listens to the show, first of all, and is supported for the first year, and was there to support the party, even if you don't listen. You just think it's cool. But, like, I know you're out there. That was the biggest, that kind of visualized the movement that we have, to me. I didn't really understand.
The Gab Street movement.
For real. The pedestrian movement. It's fucking real, dude. Like, that was a lot of people. That was like 45 people or so. And we lifted that venue. We lifted Wild Goose Creative off the fucking earth.
Oh, for sure.
That boy Jonesy, Asia, Zay Finale, Zay Crypto on his first fucking performance.
Yeah, that was wild.
First of all.
That was wild.
L. I'm forgetting somebody. YC, King Bali, AC, and Dom Gutta. I'm hoping I addressed everyone. If not, I severely apologize. But all of those performers did fucking great. A great job.
Totally.
Brought the energy.
Big shout out to them, too. Y'all should follow them on Instagram. In my experience, they all followed me back.
Yes.
So.
That is facts.
Shout out to them also.
They share the love. It's great. Also for the roast, everyone who took part in the roast, Sam Rothstein took part in the roast.
Yeah.
Cecil Heyman was there.
Sam definitely came in the hardest. Like
Sam
he was funny as hell.
Slinging on everybody.
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, whoa, it's just for me, dude. Like, you don't have to rip on Joseph Keith either. Also, Joseph Keith hosted the fuck out of that.
He did a great job.
I don't know if you realized, but that was his first time hosting anything. And he would, he said he was a bit nervous, and he has no reason to be, because that dude is charismatic and intelligent as fuck and can think really quick on his feet. Mm-hmm. So, also part of this announcement here is that that's not going to be the only party we're going to throw. For real. We're going to have more of those fucking shebangs. So, and Joseph Keith is going to be hosting the rest of the events that we have.
Hell yeah.
Forever, unless for some reason he's not available, but if he is, he's there. Revolter Pictures is going to be our official film crew for all of our events.
Hell yeah.
So we are publicly partnering as organizations. We are going to be throwing events more this year, more next year, more as long as we can. This will include more music This will include more celebrations. This will include comedy. This will include things like Visioneers, potentially. Just showcase
flea markets,
shit
too.
like that, and flea markets. This man will help me coordinate some flea markets, as you are going to learn about here in a minute.
It's true.
A couple more things. The Arnold has been canceled.
Yo.
Straight up. Mike DeWine, our fucking governor, was like, hey, coronavirus be kind of sick, so we can't really throw that shit anymore. Sorry, Mr. Schwarzenegger.
Get to Columbus, please.
Get to the Mayflower. For real, though, save your wallets. Because, that shit is... we might get some tax levies here pretty soon.
Maybe. It's so interesting. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit and, the impact that it's going to have on the city. And how many people or businesses, this is their biggest weekend of the year.
Yeah.
And, most businesses right now are, in the middle of their Q1. And so to start out your fiscal year with, a hit like this is going to be really interesting to, see the effects of over the next coming months.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in it. It's very, very fucking wild.
But Arnold did say that it is going to happen later in the year.
Okay, cool.
So it's not 100% not going to happen. It'll be somewhere either later in the spring or in the summer. Honestly, I think that as a summer event would be fucking dope.
Oh, sure.
Anyway,
For sure.
Because it's kind of cold right now, you know what I mean?
Actually, in the summer, too, it'd be even more interesting because, the Arnold's great, right, economically for us, but, as people who live in Columbus, are we aware that it's also the biggest hotspot for sex trafficking in the nation every year? This shit happens like crazy. So,
that is facts. Yeah.
Not to dig into that too much, but in the summertime when there are more people walking around and more people just bouncing around bars, as people and leaders in Columbus, we should be more aware of that going into it. So, did you know that?
I did know that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I had heard that statistic before. It doesn't really register in my mind.
Yeah.
Very well, but it's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And there are a lot of movements, none of which I can actually name right now because I don't remember them. But there are a lot of movements in Columbus that have sprung up over the last decade that are fighting this.
Oh, definitely.
So much.
Yeah.
And if you watch this come on the show, I want to plug you. But for real, anything you can do to contribute to the fight against that issue.
Yeah.
Fucking do it because. Columbus is just such a city that would not seem that way.
Yeah, well, it's not Columbus, right? It's the fact that it's this huge, incoming group of people who aren't typically here. There's a lot of drinking. There are a lot of events happening. So there's a lot of people that just get lost in the woodwork through it.
Yep.
So
that's true.
Yeah. I don't have any, organizations off the top of my head, go support to this one or go donate to this one or, do the research on this. I think just, hop on Google and do some research onto it because it's a real issue. So, actually, one of the vendors that we partner with, 1429, for Little Flea, proceeds from their baked goods go to helping survivors of sex trafficking.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're gonna get to Little Flea in a minute. We're gonna educate you. We're gonna fucking edumacate you on this shit. Okay. You're gonna know about this. Last two things before we begin. We have two patrons on Patreon now, one of which is Randy Hardenbrook, also from the Canned Air podcast. It's fucking dope. Canned Air podcast is syndicated with us on the Cuyahoga Valley radio network. And that is an online radio station that you can listen to at CuyahogaValleyRadioNetwork.com.
I dropped in 2 days ago and I was like, oh, clip.
It's a good station.
It's cool.
Real.
Yeah. Their lineup is dope.
Yeah. They got some really dope shit on there.
Yeah.
So go check that out. We air every Monday at 2 p.m. So go listen to that. And then the other Patreon that we got was Anthony Cardosi or Boggin from Revolter Pictures. He pledged $50. So thank you so much for that. For
Big
real.
shout outs.
Go check out Revolter Pictures last week's episode if you have not. No, 2 weeks episode ago. So go listen to them. And then finally, we are sponsoring a stage at the Columbus Comedy Festival. We are sponsoring the Tree Bar stage. It is going to be called the Gab Street stage.
Hell yeah.
So that is from May 28th through the 31st. I will be there. the whole time. So
signing autographs, signing babies,
selling them on Craigslist.
Yeah, for selling babies on Craigslist.
Yes, you fucking know me. That's how I do. So please come out, and it's gonna be Gab Street stage, dude. So we're gonna have some dope fucking performers on that stage.
Shout out Amber Falter. She just picked up something big with them.
Yeah, she's one of the
organizers, or she's co-producing. That's what it is. Yeah, big shout out to Amber.
Dope shit.
Yeah.
Okay, we have not addressed you for too long. We normally don't have space for things that are non-interview, so I appreciate you letting me
of course.
Put some of that stuff in the beginning here. 2020 truly is the year of our Gab, is it not?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Is a Chinese zodiac sign, right? Like,
dude, for real.
That's your sign?
It's just a moving mouth. That's weird shit. Let's not do that anymore.
Well, I think that every year for me is like the year of the Gab, though, because I just talk. I just keep going. So as far as year of our Gab for Gab Street, y'all are doing big stuff. So definitely shout outs for that, and give yourself a pat on the back. Again, that party was dope.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on this so I can plug my stuff a little bit. But yeah, man, you're the Gab for sure.
Thank you, sir. And this talkative man, as he is self-proclaimed, is Adam Himmel.
Cheers.
He comes to us bearing news of the neighborhood, Old North.
Yeah, that's my hood, man. That's my neighborhood.
It's your fucking area.
We're really doing it out there,
dude.
We're trying to.
Shit's really happening up there. I was not introduced to this area. I knew that it existed as a geographical area.
Yeah.
I had not been introduced to the rich amount of culture and fun shit you can do up there.
Totally, man.
So tell the audience a little bit about it.
Hell yeah. So the neighborhood of Old North is really just north of Lane Ave. It's a little bit shaky, but just south of like Lucky Supermarket area. It's not Clintonville, and it's not campus. It's this weird little pocket of creatives and, some washed up grad students, a lot of drunks and alcoholics, musicians for sure. I think we're going to talk a little bit about how Corey and I met, but when he asked me to be on the show, I was like, if you're going to interview me on your show, you have to come hang out in the neighborhood and run around with me and my homies, at least for one night, and then we can talk more. So I think the first night we ran up and down Hudson Street a little bit.
Yeah.
We went to Old North Arcade. All the homies there are so dope, and then we really hung out at my home base, which is the Rambling House.
Okay, but Rambling House. You told me that shit feels like a living room, and I 100% agree. And so does everyone else. So does everyone else.
Soda
in that room feels like your family. But also, they make fucking great soda. So
it's true.
Check it out. But everyone that I've met so far in that area has just been so welcoming and so kind.
That's the way, man.
For real, and you don't always get that.
It's true. It's true. Well, I think that, the Rambling House is such a unique space that offers such a range of different events. But most people think of it as a bluegrass bar. And so I think the connotation, just from things I've heard, is people are like, I don't know, it's probably super conservative and really uptight and weird, and I don't listen to bluegrass music, but it's probably the most liberal bar in the city. It's super chill. Yeah. I mean, we have such a great range of music, from Americana to folk to bluegrass to we had a heavier rock set earlier this month. Jazz. Do you like jazz?
You like jazz? Jazz is my shit. Poster up there.
Yeah, man. A lot of jazz and just really cool events. Amber Falter is now hosting her monthly comedy show there.
No way. How did I not know about that? No fucking way. I'm going to that every single time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I heard, is Growlin' Gremlins is moving from the Daily Growler. I could be wrong about that. But I know she's getting ready to host something monthly there. That's what I heard through the grapevine.
Dude. I'm there.
Yeah, man.
Every time.
Well, and that's the thing is, you came and you hung out one time, and now, you're hanging out at Wild Goose for your party. You're coming to the Rambling House when I'm not there. You go to Old North. You have yet to go to Dick's Den, which is, the Rambling House's sister bar, but like has just the same, focus on music, but has been there since the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, and another cool thing about Old North, I don't know if you know this, on Norwich Ave, we have one of the oldest structures in all of Ohio, and I'm fairly certain it's the oldest in Columbus, Ohio. And it's a log cabin that a politician and writer back like several hundred years ago lived in North Columbus, which is what Old North used to be called, and then it got moved in relatively recent years to Norwich Ave. Like, they picked it up and just put it in Norwich Ave.
Like the fucking Unabomber's cabin.
Yeah, kinda, dude. Kinda. There's a guy who lives there now, and like you can't like go into it because it's just his fucking house.
Because it's the Unabomber.
But I'm putting all this info out here, and like I've been talking about this for like 2 months since I found out about it, and I'm sure now that people are like, oh shit, man, that's the house.
I need to see this now.
And there's some dude just like mowing his lawn.
And it's not like a museum. Don't go in there.
Yeah, no, you can't. But I think the Dispatch has an article on it.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I'm interested a lot in Columbus history and also trespassing. So
for sure,
I love that shit. Catch me at the quarry over in Upper Arlington before it opens up as a metro park, and I'm falling down the cliff.
Oh shit! And that's the end of Gap Street.
Okay, but for real, I used to go in that quarry. You can't arrest me now because statute of limitations. But it was that was a great time. Actually, if you know about my music, please don't. I go by Cordonic on SoundCloud, and
everybody search Cordonic on SoundCloud.
Well, it was mentioned in the roast anyway, so it's all right. The album cover for Crisis Averted is a picture of no.
Crisis Averted, is that your mixtape?
Yeah, that's
that's your first mixtape.
For real.
It's Crisis Averted.
That's what it's called.
What was the crisis, Corey?
Nothing. I just thought it was a cool name.
My cat yakking up a hairball. Which happened right as we were starting.
Before we began, my cat fucking vomited right there.
I also swear a lot, so I don't know if there's like a count for how many times the word fuck has been said on your show, but I'm going to try and not take over it.
I should add that in this time around. That'd be great. Oh, man. Or just how many times we say Bolo Boys or some shit.
Hey, Bolo Boys. It's
Bolo
really
Boys. I don't have a Bolo yet. I haven't been inducted, but
soon enough.
It'll happen.
He's got a little bit of drip now, so...
Dude, drip.
We got to get you like a fucking Red Dead Redemption themed Bolo to match your video game aesthetic.
Oh my god. You gotta ice up, y'all. Rambling House. Go there. For real.
Yeah.
They always have cool shit happening.
It's a super cool venue, and like
nationally
just
touring artists too.
For sure.
For
We've had so many good bands. We just had Taylor Meyer, who is the lead singer of Camp, and Matt Vinson, who plays with them as well. They did like an acoustic set there last Monday. It was dope, and they brought their friend. I think they went to college with him. His name's Rory, but you should check out his music. It's Little Miami Music. And he just moved into Old North too, like living in the neighborhood. He's super dope. It's just like this awesome, like, ambient folk aesthetic, like, very, very good. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, and if you want to get into the local scene as well, there are plenty of talented people playing there. Like, I saw Kenzie Coyne, who was on episode 52, by the way, from Hello Luna. She did an acoustic set. Yeah. And an electric set. It was a mixed set.
That was a cool
solo
show.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was really dope. That was a great time. And also, Kenzie Coyne is just a super genuine, kind person. So if you ever get a chance to talk to her, please do. Yeah, you will not regret it. There's also Faye and her band. Mm-hmm. They have played there a couple times now. That was really cool. And TJ George is also a fantastic musician in the city, and he played there recently, opening for Alice Wallace. So yeah, just go there on literally any evening.
Yeah, Alice Wallace.
Something's going on.
Just this past Sunday, I think, right?
The Sunday before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was doing Columbus had a restaurant expo, and I was doing that actually to debut Rambling House's new CBD infused ginger beer.
I had some of it.
Yeah, it's dope.
And it kicks ass.
It's like 15 milligrams of CBD per one of these 12-ounce cans. It was fun doing the expo, but I missed Alice Wallace because I was out slinging.
You gotta
slinging the CBD
sometimes,
soda,
man.
man. Actually,
so
I was
good.
wearing for that entire expo a blazer with a bunch of hemp leaves on it.
Nice.
And then one of my best friends, Aubrey, was dressed up as CBD man. He had like this big superhero suit. I think that's on my
awesome.
Instagram page, or Aubrey, someone. So yeah, it's dope.
I love that, dude.
No pun intended.
Okay, but plug that soda a little bit more because that shit is popping off.
Yeah, so right now we're going through the process of getting an application approved through the Department of Agriculture. So it's a little bit interesting in Columbus. You can obviously sell CBD products, they're 100% legal. But if you're making CBD beverages in Ohio, you have to go through different legalities and applications to also sell it. So there are a couple of bigger beverage companies. I think Wonder is one of them. Shout out to them. They're super dope people. But I don't think that they make their product here in Ohio, because we're slated to be probably the first people manufacturing a CBD beverage in Ohio.
Oh, shit.
And we make that up in Old North right off of Duncan Street. So
Hell yeah.
it's going to mostly be in bars around town, but it should be popping up in the next 2 weeks. The Department of Ag has just had some problems with like their servers or something is what we keep getting told. So
Interesting.
I'm also going to keep burping under my breath because I'm drinking this soda. Maybe not the best thing to drink for the interview, but
That's the way we do around
yeah,
here.
a little CBD, man. Not that my nerves need to be calmed ever, but I should have given it to you.
Dude, even if you don't try that soda,
Yeah.
the other sodas that they already have on tap at Rambling House, brewed by Aubrey, by the way.
Yeah, big shout outs to the homie Aubrey. He was going to sit right here, but had to actually be making soda today. You can catch it at Rambling House, but we're in probably 3 dozen accounts around Columbus too. We're at the Gateway. If you've had Mules at Bodega, you've had our ginger beer. A bunch of pretty popular spots that you just may not have known it was our ginger beer. So it was a pretty, easy transition for us to get into doing the CBD product with our ginger beer since we've been doing it for like 6 years. So.
And it's fucking real, by the way.
Yeah.
Which by that I mean, like, you know how Coca-Cola is like kind of not real.
It's a figment of your imagination.
Like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they're just they literally eat your bones.
Yeah.
But this shit is like savory, kind of.
Yeah.
I think sarsaparilla is the sweetest thing you guys have.
Yeah, for sure, which is like a root beer kind of.
Yeah. And like it doesn't feel like you're being eaten from the inside. Like you're drinking it, and it's not like, don't drink it for health.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
But
you're not drinking soda to get
It's not
thin.
guilty. It's not a guilty drink.
Yeah, because it's just we sweeten it with cane sugar.
Yeah.
And then I mean for the ginger beer, we've probably Aubrey and John, which is Aubrey's brother who owns the soda shop, have probably pressed like 20 or 30,000 pounds of ginger, and like the ginger beer is just like it's ginger, some cayenne pepper, some sugar, and like carbonation.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So
It's good shit.
yeah.
Yeah. If you were interested in alternative soda, please go check it
Alternative
out.
soda. Oh my God, that's gonna be our new hashtag.
That's the new shit. I'm gonna hashtag that for this episode.
Alternative soda.
Oh yes.
I'm sending
new
that to
shit.
John right after we leave here. John, I got the new marketing strategy, man. Alternative soda.
Royalties. No, it's good.
Hey, man, we didn't
I'm
sign
fucking with you.
anything.
Shit. Okay. So another thing I want to bring up that you take part in
Yeah,
is the Midwest Vintage Collective.
for sure.
Tell me all about that shit.
Yeah, so that's my best friend Tony, who works down at Land Grant, another person you maybe have seen around town, but we always get drunk and we have these like business ideas, right? So it started maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. We had this idea called the Peacock Surf Shop. At the time, both of us were working for PacSun, and we were like, man, fuck this. We want to open up our own surf shop. Like, we're going to open it up on the East Coast. It's going to be called the Peacock Surf Shop. It's going to have a bar in the back called the Tail End. Like, we had like this whole structure, but we were like super drunk, and so then it just like fizzles away. Then after that, Tony started a clothing company called Goat Clothing, and that, as life has gotten more tumultuous and busy, he's gotten married and taken on like director positions at Land Grant and all kinds of stuff. So like that kind of took the back burner. And then both of us just really love thrifting, and we kept finding like super dope stuff. And we're like, I don't know, man, like what if we just sell some of this stuff? And so really for most of our product, it's Tony. Like Tony is like, estate sales, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Like, he thrifts every day on his way to accounts. Like, he's constantly just finding super cool pieces. And then there's me, like, I go, like, twice a week, and I'm like, hey, man, do you think this Tommy Hilfiger polo will sell? Not quite, but it's pretty close. And then, yeah, and it just really fell together with, at the time, what I wanted to pull together with Little Flea. And so I was like, well, if we create this space, then we can test the waters there, and we create this space, and, like, you know. So it's cool. I'm a big fan of fashion and clothing in general, so it, you know, it's just been really, really dope. Some of the pieces we find sometimes is really difficult to, like, want to sell. Like, one piece in particular Tony found at the Goodwill on Hudson, or it was the VOA on Indianola. He was in the scrubs section, right? Because, like, he does the entire thrift store.
Damn.
And he's, like, looking through nurses' scrubs. And he finds this dope 90s, like, Cross Colors shirt. Do you know the brand Cross Colors?
I do not.
So it's this dope, like, R&B, hip-hop artists used to wear it a lot. And they're, what is it?
Wait, mixed fabrics?
Kind of,
That
yeah.
shit ain't biblical.
No, their slogan was racism hurts everybody, you dig? And so I've got this super cool, just like button up short sleeve, and it's like green and red and yellow and black, and on the back it says without prejudice, and then it says
fucking dope.
Racism hurts everyone, you dig? And it's just got like the Cross Colors logo. And that's one that, like, we took to the first Little Flea. And within 10 minutes of us being there, I was just like, we're not selling this. Like, I'm buying it from us. Because it's just super dope. And so that's the problem with, like, doing this, like, digging and selling vintage clothing, is that you find so much stuff that you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like, even at Little Flea, like, I find stuff all the time. Like, I got this jacket, which is this, like, 73 chalk line Texas University jacket. From a vintage seller there. Like, this hat I got is like a vintage Dobbs hat that a guy called Dallas Durst, who hand makes felt hats in Columbus, bought it and reshaped it and, like, fixed it up. And then,
that's
like,
a name.
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Dallas W. Durst, DWD hat on Instagram. You should check him out. We're working on getting him set up the first week of April at an event we're going to call Vendors at the Venue.
Nice.
And so the Rambling House does a Bluegrass Thursday where the Relentless Mules, our house band, plays every Thursday. We do $2 Hilltop Loggers. We have a bluegrass jam at the beginning of the night, but we're going to set him up in the back, and he's going to, like, have all his hats for sale, and then, like, I'm going to try and push him to, like, take measurements and make custom hats. Because he sells these for, like, cheap, man. Like, he's making custom hats, he's selling them for, like, $80 to $120. You go to, like, Quarter Horse Congress or anything and try and, like, buy something like this is, like, $300 or $400. So,
Jesus.
Yeah. And he's just this cool dude, man. Like, he's just this guy who, like, his kids grew up and moved out, and he's like, I just have a lot of free time and I'm bored, so I started making hats.
I love that.
Yeah, me too, man.
That's so cool.
He's like one of my favorite people I've gotten to work with the Flea. So yeah, he was
sorry, with the what?
The Flea, Little Flea.
With
the Little Flea.
Oh shit! Tell us about that.
So I worked with Dallas when we did the chili cook-off with Land Grant. But Little Flea, right? Like, that's my big thing right now. That's why, like, I'm on this podcast, is that
it's also sponsoring this episode too.
That's true, and this month, I think, right?
Yes. So you're already hearing about that shit.
Yeah, man. But what we're trying to do is really create, like, a network for local makers and artists and small business owners in Old North to connect and host events or hold events or participate in events. So the biggest thing we're doing really is the Makers Market, so what we're calling Little Flea in the Old North. And that's where we get anywhere from 13 to 25 vendors so far. Damn. Just in the Rimley House, but hopefully by the end of this year we'll have expanded and using multiple venues.
Nice.
And, you know, they're all just, like, local people, and they come in and set up shop. The big thing that we're trying to do that I think separates us from a lot of the other Makers Markets around town is that they're pretty expensive to be a part of, you know, like... shout outs to Columbus Flea, honestly, they're the OGs. I don't remember what their vendor fee is, but I know it's kind of expensive to the point that, like, if Tony and I wanted to just test the waters for, like, our Midwest Vintage, it wouldn't be profitable. You know, there's no way that we could be lucrative with it.
Yeah.
So what we're really trying to do, and it's fortunate for me because I've got the Rambling House background, is keep a really, really low vendor fee. So right now, like $20 or $25 for vendors to participate, and then that money... we take it and we turn around and, like, we use it for, like, table rentals if we have to, and then the rest of it just goes into social media marketing. So
Nice.
it's really a labor of love right now. Could I eat off it someday? I don't know. That's what people always ask me. They're like, so did you make any money off this? It's like, that's not the point right now. The point is to just create this cool community event in Old North, because we don't really have anything like that right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's a cool neighborhood. It's obviously my favorite neighborhood, but we don't have a lot that pulls us together as a neighborhood outside of like the fucking Old North Block Watch, and it's just like 60-year-old white people that are just like, there's somebody walking down the street right now, and it's like, come on, there's like so many other things that we could be worried about as a neighborhood. And you know, if we create this and facilitate this environment for people to meet each other, even if it's just neighbors coming to it and being like, oh my gosh, like you live 4 houses down from me, nice to meet you, then I think we're doing something right. So
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And I think that is the perfect place to do it too, because you know we're recording out of downtown Columbus. One thing that keeps people from being a community down here is fucking parking. Like that is like, I say that laughing because it sounds kind of silly, but like charging for parking is something that doesn't happen in Old North.
Well,
too.
there are some permit areas, but
but they're kind of few and far between.
Yeah.
You can park up there
pretty much anywhere,
most everywhere,
yeah.
and you can just go places.
Yeah.
It's also a smaller neighborhood,
For sure.
little more tight knit. So, go check it out. It's not hard to get to,
Yeah.
and it's not hard to be there.
And it's so walkable, everything in
Yeah.
the neighborhood, like you can walk to in a matter of minutes. And that's why, I live smack dab in the middle of Old North. And like, I live near like one of the oldest schools in the city of Ohio, or the state of Ohio.
Ohio is my city.
Yeah, right. But Indianola Middle was like the first like young boys middle school in Ohio, and I think the country.
Damn.
And that's like right up the block from me. Like, this Norwich Ave log cabin shit is like right over there. But then there's like at least 30 amazing businesses that I like regularly go to, like I talk about Old North Arcade and the Rambling House all the time because I'm at one of those places every single day.
Yeah.
But like the food trucks are amazing. Like Exotic Latino Grill Dog, like if you haven't eaten that spot right outside of Fortino, it's amazing. What Wild Goose is doing is another like amazing thing, and as far as I know, they started in Old North and have a little bit expanded since then.
Yeah, they started in Old North. They've been there for a little while, and then they're actually working on a second location.
Yeah.
Wild Goose Creative, or Wild Goose West.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be over in Franklinton.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that because more cool shit will happen there. But
even like record stores, man. Like we have 4 record stores like that you can just hit in 2 hours. And like as somebody who is like avidly flicking through bins, it's amazing to walk up to Used Kids, hit RPM, go to Elizabeth's, like, and just like walk home with way more than I need to walk home with,
It is a crate digger's paradise.
Yeah, and then you can it's more Clintonville area, but Yeah, Me Too is like a great coffee spot. And then like, Babas is like our little coffee location, they do more like smoked meats and foods and sandwiches and stuff, and they're dope. But there's just so much that you can just do on a daily basis in the neighborhood. So I'm hoping that with Little Flea, to sort of pull it back to that, the way that Hudson Street is laid out, right? Like there's the Rambling House on Indianola and Hudson, and then there's the big Sohud mural, which we'll talk about, I'm sure.
So
but there's a parking lot there, right? And the people who own the Babas building, I believe, own that parking lot. And then Old North Arcade, right, is sort of like the capstone down there. My ultimate vision is that we do this huge Makers Market where we have vendors outside by the Sohud mural, we have vendors inside the Rambling House, maybe vendors at like Ace of Cups or Old North Arcade, and then you can just walk down Hudson Street, stop there and shop, stop there and shop, stop there and shop, like canvas with the neighbors and be like, dude, if you want to do a yard sale, like now is your time to do it, because people are going to be walking up and down the street, like Italian Village has their like big yard sale day that they do like every week or every year. And that most neighborhoods have something, but we don't have anything like that. So I'm really hoping that as a community with Little Flea, we can pull together and like just brand our neighborhood and say, this is Old North. This isn't Clintonville. This isn't campus. I'm going to argue about it being Sohud. Because Sohud is really like a subdivision of Old North.
Yeah.
But, it's neither here or there right now.
So if you think about if that were to happen, it'd be something kind of like the Moonlight Market or the Daylight Market on Gay Street.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, which I've been to a couple of times. It's pretty cool. So,
yeah, dude. Especially on a nice day, with the sun shining, man. We have
Feeling
food
good.
trucks set up. I mean, we'd already have the food trucks in the neighborhood, but we park somebody right behind the Rambling House. You have a little mimosa. You have a soda because you can't. No open containers. That's different. That's different licensing. We're not there yet. I emailed the city about permitting for some stuff, and it took them 6 weeks to email back and be like, "Did this question ever get answered?" And I was like, Google answered it for me.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's the way shit happens around here, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into the Gab Street podcast. We're going to go ahead and hear a quick commercial break from Coop and Little Flea 614.
Coop checking in with y'all, man. Columbus, Ohio, stand up. OCMG repping it to the fullest, Make sure y'all go download and stream my new album, 717, out now on all streaming platforms with my hit singles White Runts, Rumors, and Traffic. Yeah. This February 24th, we at XL Lounge in Columbus for Crowd Control. Shout out my brother Juice and Lonnie from 106.7. And 2 days later, February 26th, we performing in Athens, Ohio. On March 2nd, I'm gonna be back at XL Lounge for another Crowd Control. Then later that week on March 7th, we'll be performing at Cloud City, courtesy of my boy Sam Rothstein. Finally, on March 14th, we start the tour at the Ballroom in Black Lick, Ohio. Hit 30 different cities and 15 different states all across the country. Tickets on sale now, so get yours ASAP before they sell out, because I promise you don't want to miss this. Shout out Gab Street Podcast for showing me love, man, and make sure y'all tune in on my interview with them coming out soon. Cool.
Hey there, Gab Street listeners. My name's Adam Himmel, and I'm the organizer for Little Flea in Old North. Our goal is to bring makers, artists, and neighbors together for an array of awesome events. We're looking forward to our next big flea market on April 26th at the Rambling House from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll have a bunch of great local vendors for you to shop, craft sodas, and mimosas to drink. We hope you'll come hang out with us. You can be up to date on future events by following us at littleflea.614 on Instagram.
Let's talk about So Hood.
Yeah.
Shall we? So, you have a little bit more information on it than I do.
Yeah, so, it on Hudson Street, right, we've got the big So Hud mural. And So Hud is really, this might create some argument, it's really, in my mind, like a subdivision of Old North. But in my eyes, right, like, if we haven't even defined Old North, right? If we still have people that are like, oh, you live on campus? Or, like you're hanging out at Easton and somebody asks you like, oh, where do you live? You say Old North, they're like, well, where the fuck is that? Like, I don't know. Like, it's south of Clintonville, or you just say you live in Clintonville. Yeah. So if we haven't even defined Old North yet, then why are we really hyping up the So Hud part too? Because they do like the So Hud, like, what's it called, Fool's Parade or something, and like I think it's organized by some of the folks that live in like the Glen Echo sort of area, or like right there on So Hud. South Hudson, right? Like, yeah. So it's south of Hudson Street. So like then, Soho. Yeah. Sort of. But that, just north of Hudson Street is just a couple more blocks of Old North. So why can't we all just come together and be like, yo, we fucking love Old North. We love this neighborhood we live in. Why we got to create all these little subdivisions? If that mural said Old North, I'd cry. If I drove by that one day and the side of Baba's just said Old North, I'd be like...
Brings a tear to this
As you're driving down Hudson Street, there's literally a sign that says, welcome to the Old North. Like...
That is true. It's kind of like the Short North signs, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's on High Street. So on High Street, we have the arches, right?
Yeah.
Which so few people knew about, actually. Like, as I've been doing the Little Flea stuff, people are like, oh, well, like, what is Old North? And I'm like, it's... the arches, man.
Like, you see that shit?
Yeah. Like, and they're like, what do you mean? And then I got a text, like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, like, I finally saw the arches. And I was like, do you never drive on High Street? Because, like, you have to drive by them all the time. Yeah, I actually don't know the full history of those arches. I'm pretty sure Tome Wildman, he's, I think, like, our like, neighborhood commission person for the UAC, because we're all a part of, like, the University Area Commission, which is like the neighborhood commission. But I'm pretty sure like 10 or 15 years ago, they pushed and got those arches put up, which is dope. Like, they're cool. I don't know what the neighborhood would, be without them.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of like awesome drone footage that you can see if you go to our Instagram. And we're
or if you watch the commercial in this.
Or if you watch the commercial, that's right. Yeah, we put it on the commercial.
Facts.
Yeah, we're gonna do a bunch more of that stuff too, like cool drone footage of like some of the old architecture in Old North. But, yeah. So Sohud, I mean, I don't hate you if you call it Sohud. I just wish.
But he kind of does.
I just wish that we could all just be like Old North, right? Like, and come together as like a full ass neighborhood before we start like these little subdivisions. It's not big enough, Like, Old North encompasses a pretty large city area, but I mean, shit. What do you tell people you live in Sohud? That's even more fucking confusing than saying you live in Old North.
Yeah.
Like, unless you drove by the mural and then they're like, oh shit, that's by the Crew Stadium. Like, for now.
Oh yeah, they are moving the Crew Stadium over
Yeah.
to fucking like right by here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm interested in seeing like what it'll do, because I don't think that, whenever there's a Crew game, we get a ton of runoff from it. I think that there are a handful, like probably like 4th Street gets a ton of people drinking there and then they walk to the game, but at the Rambling House, man, we usually get like 3 or 4 people during a game, and it's like,
really
cool, all right, cool. Who won?
Let's make this town big enough for the two of us.
Yes.
And let's make it Old North. How about that?
We've got a neighborhood that's already big enough for the two of us.
Exactly.
Why are we making it smaller? Is my opinion. That's my opinion. But, I mean, I still love all the people that call it Sohud, and like I hope that they'll come out and be a part of Little Flea, and like if they're a vendor, bring their product, or just even come celebrate. Because I mean, it's part of. They're still obviously a big piece of what makes the neighborhood amazing. But can we just call it Old North, please?
Yeah.
Maybe for Christmas this year.
All I want for Christmas.
Yeah.
One more thing addressing the neighborhood specifically is something that you have been throwing together called Little Litter League.
Oh, shit, yeah. No, man, this is something I'm actually really excited about. I got the idea because obviously Columbus has historically done what they call a litter league, and it's separated out by divisions, right? There's like a Northeast division or a North division, a Southeast division, and neighborhoods get points by the amount of trash they collect. And I was like, why can't we just take this and on a small scale idea, just try and mobilize people in our neighborhood and get together and, once a month we pick a street and say, we're going to clean up this street. It's been too cold and there's been a lot of rain, so anytime I've had something on the books, we've had to reschedule it. But we're thinking the second week of April will be the first Little Litter League. And we really haven't come together with how we're going to do teams or anything like that, or if that's just the name of the event, but working on getting like all of the supplies there for you. You come, we meet up at the Rambling House, or we meet up at Old North Arcade or someplace close to the street. And then we just break up in little groups and go up and down a street over the course of 4 or 5 hours and just clean up all the trash, on Hudson Street, so I live right off of Hudson, and walking to Old North or walking to Rambling House all the time, like I'm constantly just like picking up trash and like whatever. Aubrey bikes to work, and he lives pretty close to me, and he would take like one of those little picker-upper dudes and just like pick up trash, but like he would get like literally a block and be like, I'm already full. So I don't think that it does anything to address littering as a whole, but maybe if more people participate and are really just like committed to their neighborhood and calling it Old North, they'll be more committed to not litter, not just throw their like Rally's bag. I can't tell you the number of just like Rally's bags or chicken bite boxes that I've picked up off the sidewalk.
Yeah. Or
like Little Caesars boxes, and it's just people who are just like drunk and just tossing it,
I saw him too. I walked with this man from Old North Arcade up to Rambling House one night.
Hell yeah. And we didn't walk, we strutted.
Yeah, we were booking it, man.
I was like 6 White Claws deep, so.
Well, we were looking around the whole time, and we would just, there's one. It just kept popping up.
Yeah.
Just like, so I've seen this issue as it exists, This man is not spewing bullshit. This is something that actually happens. So
I mean, if you just walk in the neighborhood, you'll see it.
Yeah.
And most people just aren't aware of it because we live in this, city, and people aren't like looking around all the time. Mm-hmm. But because we live in this city, like we need to be more aware of what that litter looks like. I mean, it would be awesome if we could get some sort of like trash can system in place that's like more effective, given that the neighborhood's so walkable now. But I really don't know if that's going to happen. You know, I think it just starts with, why don't we just mobilize, clean up, and own it? Because then there's some accountability. Like, well, shit, like all 15 of us cleaned up today, so all 15 of us aren't going to litter. You know.
Facts.
Yeah. So we'll see. Beginning of April.
Yes.
Will be more info on that. And then all through the summer, we're hoping to do like just one street a month where we just go east to west, just hit the whole street up, pick up all the trash. You know, we're working right now with like maybe we can get the Rambling House to give everyone who participates a free drink, you know, afterwards, you know, or maybe we can just set up a grill somewhere and just like a bunch of hot dogs or a bunch of hamburgers and veggie options, vegan options for, you know, people who are participating. So fingers crossed. We need people to participate, though. We need people to actually like be engaged in it, and like, you know, obviously a big piece of that comes with the legwork that we're trying to do and getting Little Flea out there, so that, you know, people who hear this podcast, like, shit, even if you don't live in Old North, homie, just like come up for a drink, like just do something good for your city, right? Because we're all part of a bigger picture here. So
teamwork
makes the dream work.
It does make the dream work. That is correct. Now, I know you from somewhere, and that somewhere is a certain Discord.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man, that shit's crazy.
Dude, so I discovered, for those of you who don't know, some of you might actually be from it listening today. But
Shout-outs.
Shout-outs, yes. Shouts out to you. The Columbus Discord, you can find it on the Columbus subreddit, r/Columbus.
Yeah.
And you can join this and make so many friends immediately.
It's cool.
It's crazy. I think Yuffie started it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So shout out Yuffie, first of all. But I have made a bunch of friends from this. I made this friend from it.
Hell yeah.
And that's why he's here today. And it's why I know anything about Old North. And it's why I've met a lot of people that I've met at this point. Like, both professionally and friend-wise. You know, a lot of the connections that I've made for the show as well have been through you, because I met you through the podcast, or through the Discord and stuff.
And then I'm like, yo, homie, you got to meet this person, you got to meet this person, you got to meet this person, come out this night. Like,
yes. And it has been good every time.
Constantly, just like, come on, man, like, let's hang out. Like, that when Amber Falter did her thing, you like knew a bunch of the comedians already, but I was like, have you met Amber before? Like, Like,
and I had not, and then I met her that night, so that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like, hey, man, should I give her my business card? And he was just like, I don't know. And I was like, give me one of your fucking business cards, Corey. No, actually, I think we were all out back smoking.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
I was just like, yo, Corey, come here. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, nah, you have to talk to this cat, so...
Yeah, no, much respect to both of you, first of all. Thank you so much for
No, of course, dude.
And to everybody that's part of that Discord, even if you're on it and you don't message, just, you know, being a presence there and, you know, being part of your community digitally as well is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because not all of us like to go outside, and, you know, it's a little easier for some of us to participate in the community digitally, and it's a good way to do that.
Yeah.
And you can find out about a lot of events going on, specifically Little Flea as well. We post about shows and you know, showcases and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
On there. So I also post insider information about this show on there sometimes. So sometimes you might get a little scoop. You know what I mean? So join it. I'll put the link to it in the description of this episode.
Hell yeah. No, it's super interesting, right? Because I specifically, when I started the Little Flea concept, was looking for creative ways to market it. Because, like, we hadn't done an event yet. I wasn't, like, sure, like, what kind of money should I be spending on boosting ads or, like, marketing on Instagram or Facebook? Which one's more successful? So I was just hitting, like, all the avenues I could think of. I was, like, on Reddit. I was on fucking Craigslist. Like, I was just posting in all of these areas. And when I posted on Reddit, I started to dig more, found out about the Discord server, joined the Discord server, originally just to advertise for the first Flea. And then, I mean, obviously, like, stuck around and just, like, chatted to people. And now they're, like, probably some of my closer friends, you know? Coming from a space of, you know, the end of 2019, I was a very no new friends person. Like, I don't need more friends in my life. Then meeting all of y'all, it was just, like, dope. And they've showed up to every event, man. Like, we do Aubrey and I throw like a New Year's party and a Halloween party every year.
Oh, we out here.
Came to the Halloween party, came to the New Year's party, came to the chili cook-off. One of the people from the Discord, our friend Kiwi, took second place at this chili cook-off we did with Land Grant back in October.
Facts.
Showed up to the last flea, and now even some of those people from the Discord server are trying to start vending a little bit, right? Our friend Bert is really into like leather working, and like she's like, now like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sell this leather stuff. Like I see how it's possible. So if nothing else, you know, with Little Flea, I'm like so inspired that people came to these events. They're like, fuck man, I could be doing this. Like, and I'm like, yes, get out there and get your hustle on. Like, do it, baby. Discord is really, really cool. I didn't expect it, you know. I don't spend a lot of time on the internet anymore, you know, like I don't have Discord on my phone. I hop on like every now and then when I have a second and just drop into the server and chat with people for a little while. And now I'm just like, I would do anything for most of those people, you know. They're going through a tough shit. I'm like, come out and drink. So yeah, man, Discord's super dope.
Join us and make some new friends.
This is like a call to advertisement right now.
Yes, it is. That's all the show is now. It's just paid product placement.
Yeah, right. Is Yuffie paying you for this episode?
Yeah, no. You can if you want to.
She's like, when's Adam going to be on the episode? Could we throw you a 50 spot? And then you would just talk about the Discord for like 10 minutes?
Nah, we got you. We got you.
Hell yeah, man.
A couple things I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
That are actually phrased as questions in my notes. And the other things weren't. That's why I was just kind of like, Little Flea. I just let it go. But that's how the show works. One thing I wanted to ask you about is you aren't from here. You're actually from Florida.
Yeah, South Florida.
And I wanted to ask a couple questions about how, like, what your perspective is being from that area as opposed to someone that has been born and raised here like me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. I love talking to people about this, and we'll have to be careful because we'll go back and forth and then it'll be like 5 o'clock and, you know, we'll have done this for 4 hours. But there are a handful of things that I think are really awesome about Columbus, right? Like Columbus loves Columbus, you know. We have like all of these great people trying to do these great things for Columbus with like Gap Street, you know, or these cool vendors, you know. Like one of the vendors we work with is this guy who makes like awesome screen printed one of the designs is like a cow laying down with Ohio on its belly, and it's Make Columbus Weird. And like I'm a super big, actually shout out to Makes Columbus Weird and Wild Ohio Embroidery. I should have tried to get it. So they're super cool vendors. Wild Ohio Embroidery does like all reclaimed materials and then does like awesome embroidery.
Nice.
And then they messaged me after the last flea and they're like, hey, would you be like interested in like a flag? And I was like, oh, you don't have to worry about it. Like, that would be cool. And then, like, a week later, they messaged me back, and they're like, so don't be mad. And they made, like, this awesome, like, cool-ass flag. And, like, it's just so, so awesome. It would have been awesome if we just laid it out. Missed opportunities here. But I'm plugging it still, so...
we'll take a photo of it, just put it right there.
Yeah, so, I mean, these are people, too, which is a good example of the perspective of Columbus, that are doing things for their community. And, like... You don't have that everywhere. In South Florida, like, you know, where I'm from, nothing is walkable. You know, the city of Fort Myers and Cape Coral are kind of like clumped together, and it's just sprawling residential. You know, to go anywhere from the house that I lived in to a friend's house or to go downtown or something, it was a 30-40 minute drive just through houses. Like, that's all South Florida is. And like, there's obviously like some weird semblance of like Gulf Coast beach culture, which is cool, and like being somebody who had the opportunity to go to the beach all the time is cool, but on the same note, it's just a bunch of tourists hanging out down there. So there is such like little sense of culture and community, at least when I lived there, because I know like a lot of people sort of my age now are opening up restaurants and bars, and I see some big shit popping down there. I'm like, okay, you go, Fort Myers, I'm not coming back, but I still love you. So the fact that exists in Columbus is cool, you know. Maybe they're the trailblazers, so I guess like even bigger props to the people in Fort Myers who are doing their thing, because they're making that sense of community that we already have up here happen. And then Columbus is also great because it's like big city with sort of small city feel, And I think that that is just so cool. You know, we've got like such an interesting breadth of cultures here too, with like awesome Somali cuisine, like just amazing food across the board. I think that we could use some like more Caribbean options, but there's like Ina's on Cleveland, which is dope.
Taste Bay is a restaurant.
Taste Bay is pretty solid, but like for me, you know, like growing up in South Florida, that's the one thing that I miss is like being able to go to like a Cuban sandwich spot, super easy. So yeah, and the thing that I love the most about Columbus that made me fall in love with Columbus is like, you know, obviously I've got the Rambling House, and the Rambling House played a huge role for me. I met all of my Columbus friends there. You know, when I moved to Columbus, I lived next door. The bar opened up. I walked in, I was like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, you're our friend now. And, you know, I just met all of these awesome, like, musicians and just cool people. John and Jen Lynch, who started the Rambling House, who own a soda shop company, who are super involved with politics, who are also raising a family. Aubrey, who, the first night I met him, we were sitting at the bar talking, we got drunk, and then we were both like, all right, well, cool, man, like, I got a party to go to. He's like, cool, I've got a party to go to too, so I'll catch you later. He hops on a unicycle and just like unicycles like up the street, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then we go to a party and it's the same party.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Yeah, we're like hanging out with the same people. And yeah, you know, like we have such like these little pockets in Columbus that other places probably do have, but are so unique for the city. Hudson Street with like Rambling House and Dick's Den, like some of the best bluegrass and Americana musicians that I've ever seen in my life are like playing there regularly.
Yeah.
Handfuls of those people are like going on to do big shit. Like the, you know, homies from camp now live in the neighborhood. Chris Stevens and Caleb Powers were like two of the founding members of the Mules, who now internationally tour with a band called the Hackensaw Boys. Like
Nice.
Lindsay Jordan moved to the neighborhood and is now doing her thing around the city, you know, like they're just like such unique, cool people in this city, and I don't know what it is that attracts them, but I'm here for it. So that's why it's a little bit different than Florida, because, you know, in Fort Myers it's like, well, I'm going to go sit at Starbucks today, or I'm going to go sit at this bar, and you don't really like talk to anyone except for the people you went to like high school with, you know? So, yeah, I don't know.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I don't know how unique it is for Columbus to other cities, but having spent time in Atlanta, some time in New York, like in these other big cities, it feels different, you know? There's something about it that just feels so genuine and authentic that you don't always get.
Well, now you don't have to hear me say it. You can hear someone else say it. Now it's actually confirmed.
Shit, man. I'm coming up on my 8th year living in Columbus, and I'm super wear it on my sleeve. Like, this is home for me and will probably be home forever because, like, the community that has accepted me and the community that I'm like a part of is just so, it's just awesome. You know, it's just awesome.
Hell yeah. You heard it here first, Paul.
Or as Jen Lynch would say, literally amazing. Y'all don't know Jen, but shout out.
Now, as someone who's lived here 8 years, now you've been around the block a bit.
Yeah.
And you live in Old North, I do not.
Sure.
And I wanted to ask you, because I actually don't really know the answer to this question. So that's why I'm asking. Usually I know the answer to the questions I'm asking. It's kind of like being a lawyer, you know what I mean? But I'm legitimately curious about this. What are some social issues in Columbus, and specifically Old North, that you have noticed living there that people generally in Columbus may not know about?
Well...
And what can we do to help?
Yeah. Well, I think be active in your neighborhoods, be active in your communities, go vote is a huge thing.
Facts. Yeah, voting turnout, come on.
Yeah, let's super make
For
it
real.
happen. And not only just in, you know, national politics, which I think are hugely important, but like in local politics too. Be involved in like who is representing your community to the city, like who is representing our city to the state, who's representing our state to the country. Like,
and they're the people that actually affect your life.
Yeah, like every single day.
Yeah.
But like social issues in Old North, I mean, obviously like the littering is a big issue, but that's not a social issue. I think that there is a big problem with, you know, people who have lived in the neighborhood for a long time, and I don't think this is new anywhere, being afraid of brown people. Like, people of color in the neighborhood, most of the venues and spaces in Old North are pretty whitewashed, and it's because the neighborhood is predominantly white, and then there is a lot of people who have been living in these neighborhoods for like 30 or 40 years that are like, oh my gosh, there's a black dude walking down the street right now, and it's like, who fucking cares, man? He lives next door. Like,
does he have a permit?
That's literally something that I read on our Block Watch. Is this dude was like, you followed me home one night. I live next door, and it was like somebody on this like Facebook group who was like, I did not do that. And he's like, I've got a picture of you following me through the neighborhood. You know, that, and I think the thing that we deal with a lot in Old North is, you know, like, what do we do for like our homeless community? You know, where I live is like sort of like a 4-unit apartment situation, and then behind me is right directly up to Hudson Street is some row houses. And somebody had moved out of one of the houses, and then a homeless dude just like took up residence on the back porch because it was fucking raining and snowing, and it was fucking cold, and this dude didn't have access to shelter, which is a basic human right.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, one of my neighbors was like all bent out of shape about it. And it's like, why do you care, man? Like, if you're bent out of shape about it, you should be doing something to help these people. But I think instead we, you know, most people in the community just shrug it off and, you know, assume these people are like doing drugs or, you know, whatever. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to like give them $1 every time you see these people. But I think that to be invested and to understand what those, you know, options around town are, like donate money to those places, make sure that there's enough space for them. But it really comes back to, I mean, even, you know, all of this stuff I just said comes back to being involved in local politics and, you know, work to get people elected in your neighborhood who are going to do the right thing for your neighborhood.
Morganize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hashtag Morganize. For real. Morganize.
You know,
It's out there.
I don't know what Morganize is.
Morgan Harper. She was on the show, episode 30-ish realm, around there. And she is running to represent the 3rd district, which we are currently in.
Fuck yeah.
In Congress, like, you know, U.S.
Sure,
Congress.
sure.
So, go support her.
Yeah. Big ups to Morgan Harper then.
Yes.
But yeah, man. And I think that gentrification is going to be a big thing in our neighborhood too. You know, it's going to be the next Clintonville or the next Short North. But what's important for us is to grasp our community and do what we can to control the direction it's going to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're not going to be able to stop that, right? Like, that's going to happen. But how do we stop it from displacing people in our community to areas that aren't going to be good for them, you know? So many people who live in Old North because it's on direct bus lines to all of the big areas around town where they can go work, or out of town where they can go work, you know? And
mobility.
Exactly.
Invest in mobility.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And this has been... I'm currently in American history class.
Oh, shit. And so he knows something.
I know the facts. And the biggest factor in, you know, people living in poverty is mobility.
Yeah.
They're not able to get to their places of work, or they are able to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And where they live, and if they own a car, you know, and cars are fucking big dosh, you know, you have to think about that. And I think investing into, you know, Coda and such, or, you know, Elon's Hyperloop or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, anything. I think that's probably the best thing to invest in.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the best way to help people help themselves.
Yeah. Too.
Because, you know, you're not... By investing in Coda, it's not like you're driving people to work. That's people that are being paid by tax dollars to drive buses to get people to work. So, I think that's important.
It's true, man. I think the mobility is huge, but, you know, I'm not like somebody who has all the answers for social justice. I'm like an opinionated person, obviously. My goal is that, you know, with Little Flea and benefiting the neighborhood, how do we do the research to find out which of these, like, nonprofits or, you know, funding situations we can donate to will help benefit our neighborhood and help benefit, you know, POC-owned businesses in our neighborhood, or, you know, not displacing homeless people and giving them, you know, the resources that they need. So with this Vendors of the Venue events that we're going to start doing, is we're hoping to do them like once a month. And then we'll set up a vendor at different venues, as the name implies, around Old North. That makes sense, right? So Dallas, Hurst doing his, or Dallas Durst, excuse me, doing his hats at Bluegrass Night makes sense, right? Like, that's like super dope.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like maybe we do something with Old North, or maybe Ace of Cups has like a hip hop show there and we find a vendor who is doing something that's in that same vein. But then how do we use that as a platform to rotate between different charities or nonprofits, and give them a platform to either like set up a booth, or maybe we take donations, and then all the proceeds from these vendor at the venue events that we do go right to these different nonprofits and stuff. So something that we're just starting to work on. It's just, as somebody who loves his neighborhood, within the past year has been really actively trying to think, like, what can I do more for my neighborhood and the communities within my neighborhood. So it's kind of a new experience for me too. If you come up to the Railing House to see me, like, let's have a conversation about it. I'd love to, hear anyone else's perspective on it and really just, like, round my knowledge out on things that I can be doing as an individual. I have these observations, obviously, but what do we do to change those? I know, like, we got to go vote. But I don't know all of the resources, so I'm working on learning those right now.
Oh, yeah. One more thing about an outside perspective.
Uh-huh.
What's something that you notice as somebody that, and this is a bit of a 180, but forgive me, as someone who does not actively perform music in Columbus?
Sure.
What's something that you notice from kind of the outside? Well, you're in on the scene, but
Sure.
you're not performing in it.
Yeah.
What's something that musicians may not be able to notice about Columbus's indie scene specifically that you would?
Dude, I think that it's so connected, I
Yeah.
think that if you take the opportunity to go out and support a local musician's band that you like, in the experience that I've had, like, in 2 weeks you're going to see those two bands perform together at a venue. Or, like, one of my best friends, Lindsay, of Lindsay Jordan, right, just went on tour, and she toured with, the front person for Souther, the, WID, her backing person, and then Straw and the Scarecrow, like, these bands that are all different bands that she just went to talk to and was like, hey, do you guys want to be my touring band? And these are all, like, bands that have big shit popping in Columbus already. WID and Souther are not small.
Yeah.
Paige, who is with Straw and Scarecrow, and the Salty Caramels, like, she's not small either. These are people who are actively doing big shit, but they were like, oh, fuck yeah, you're going to New Orleans? We're going to go on tour with you. And so...
It's a big commitment.
Yeah, and, by, like, just going out and supporting other people, they're going to support you back, I mean, I get maybe 5 or 6 texts a week where someone's like, hey, this person's having a show, or this person's having a show, like... Lindsay texted me earlier, Souther is having a show tonight at Ace of Cups. If you're not doing anything. They start at 9:30. I think tickets are $5. But, just, like, put on for your community, put on for your other friends that are musicians, and they're going to put on for you too, I think that if people are struggling in that regard as a musician, in being connected with other musicians, they've just got to put themselves out there. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, I'm going to put my music online, I'm going to play some shows, and I'm going to hope my music pops. You've got to go out and support other people that are in your same genre and, support their shows. And then it becomes this whole just like, I mean, it's almost an echo chamber on my Facebook now where it's like, everyone's talking about the same person on any given day because, like, like 9 different musicians are friends with, like, Angela Purley, and Angela Purley's got a show going on tonight, so everyone's posting, like, Angela Purley's show tonight, and it's just, these people only know each other because, of what we did with, like, Amber Falter. It's just, like, walking up and, like, shit, that's how I met Angela Purley. I was just like, you're friends with all my friends, like, I'm a big fan of your music, my name's Adam. And it was just like, cool, man. And I think that more musicians should be comfortable just doing that, That's my hot take. I don't perform in Columbus, but I go to a lot of music, so.
Take it from here.
Yeah, just go talk to people, man. Just network. Just, like, show up and be like, your music's fucking tight. Like, I want to play music with you. And odds are you're going to play music with that person.
But I'm scared.
Yeah, that's Corey, man, with his business cards.
I just fucking sling them at people. I don't even talk to them. I just kind of throw.
He goes to a bar before it opens and lays them out on the table.
3 per stool. No, but this man has gotten me to talk to some people that I really needed to talk to. So he's a facilitator of such things. So if you need help with that, talk to this guy, for real.
I just like to hang out and drink and have a good time, man. Like, that's it.
And that's all we need. That's all we need in this world, man. That's what we gotta do.
It's true.
That is facts. Which deity blessed you with such a mighty mustache?
I don't know, man, but if I find out, I'd like to pray to him. So, the reason that I have a mustache now...
oh, shit.
Yeah,
I don't know the lore, dude.
Yeah, I never
this.
used to have a mustache. And, I can't grow significant facial hair. And for years, hanging out at places like Dick's Den and Ramley House, it's like all these bearded dudes in flannels. And then it's like me just like, hi. And so, God, this was now 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, really, or yeah, maybe a little bit more. Because it was the beginning of last year that I started growing a mustache. And it started as just like the, yearly, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see what happens. And like, I don't know, it was different this year, but like Aubrey, my friend D, my friend Blue were like, yo, man, something's happening. You got to keep it going. And actually, my friend Blue started a bet with me. He was like, if you keep it going for 2 months, I don't even remember what it was anymore. I think he said he'd give me money or something. And I was just like, fuck it, man, what do I have to lose? Like, you are all my friends. Like, y'all are the ones that have to see me with this ugly-ass, like, shitty-ass mustache. And then that just became, like, I don't know, snowball effect of things, There was a point one night where we were at a show and my friend Emma colored it in with makeup to make it actually look darker. And then it just, after a year and some change, here we are. So if you find out that deity, I will pray to that God.
Well, we actually have him here.
That would be sick as fuck.
Say hello to Yahweh. No,
fucking Nigel Thornberry walks in. Actually, at your fucking roast. The DJ dude, what was his name again?
DJ Zealous.
Yeah,
Shout out for real.
Yeah, man. I popped up on stage and did like the roast for 5 seconds. And then as I was getting on stage, I heard him say, oh, Nigel Thornberry. Yeah. And I was like... And that's the craziest thing now, man, is like, as somebody who couldn't grow facial hair before, now it defines me, Like, I was at 14-0 just straight buying hooch the other day, and fucking these kids just walk in and they just like stared at me. I had like my sunglasses on, I saw them stare at me, and then they're like 6 feet away, and I hear them go, never have I ever seen the Pringles man in real life. And I was like, oh shit.
That's fucking great.
People also always ask me if I shave the middle. I don't shave the middle. It just doesn't grow. So
I have a man you need to talk to, and you need to have a mustache off.
Yeah.
His name is Tommy Reichert, and he was on this episode. He was on this episode. He's here right now. He was on this show, episode 27. So I think you guys need to have a battle of the mustaches.
Tommy, I don't know about a battle, homie, but I'm definitely coming for you, I guess.
We out here. Watch out. Couple more things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We almost at the end here. We're at about an hour and 10 minutes.
I'm not counting time.
Me neither. Well, clearly I am, because I just said what time it is. But, it's whatever. We're chilling.
Yeah, we chilling.
What are your goals for 2020? We've kind of covered some of them, but
yeah, I mean,
any of them that we
anytime I start talking about Little Flea, I immediately start talking about like what my goals are. I don't know, man. I want to make it bigger. Like I want us to have this big walkable flea market in Old North. Like I want to do more for our community, which is why with the vendors of the venue, we're looking at like what nonprofits and charity things can we donate to that will benefit our community. And just to get the name out there more, just so that people are aware of who we are. Like I want Columbus Flea to follow me on Instagram. They're huge, man. They've got like almost 20,000 followers, and like that's like my like Maker's Market goal for Little Flea is like our Maker's Market has gotten somewhere when Columbus Flea follows us. Otherwise, just chilling, man. More stuff at work. I run a tea shop. At Easton. David's Tea. I really love my job. And so, yeah, right. It's only a matter of time before electing officials to represent Easton, speaking of local elections. But yeah, more ways that I can get involved with David's Tea in the city. We've done some events like down at Goodall Park with like Friends of Goodall Park, and how can we leverage, a little bit of a bigger institution for some of the other like for good events in town. And music, man, just like a ton of music. Like I just want to keep on seeing as many of my friends play music as possible, go to their shows, spread the love, maybe throw a couple parties.
Oh yeah.
That's 2020 for me in a nutshell, man. Like maybe go on vacation. I'm going to Reno in May. So
yeah.
Can take my cowboy boots out there.
Nice. gonna bust out the bolo.
Oh yeah, dude, you got a bolo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta bowl out.
Bowl out.
Autobots bowl out.
Shit.
Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I mean, if you are a vendor who's worked with Little Flea previously, if you're a vendor that's looking forward to working with Little Flea, if you come to Little Flea, it's just like, thank you so much for supporting it. I think that through 2020, we're going to grow this little brand that we all started even more. You know, it's not me doing Little Flea, right? Like, it's the community of vendors and neighbors and neighborhoods and venues that are allowing us to utilize the space. Mm-hmm. So, you know, thanks for that. I super appreciate it. Shout outs to, you know, I mean, you for having me on the show, man. Another platform to plug the shit we're doing in Old North is so meaningful to me. Yeah, man. Follow me on Instagram. I'm AWOL, or at littleflea.614 for the events that we've got going on. I think you probably heard that on the episode already, though. It should have been in the middle on that little sponsor plug.
Yeah, that'll be in the middle with his message there.
Yeah. Also, shout outs to Kelly, man. My girlfriend Kelly and I have been dating now for over a year, and I don't think that I would have the confidence or support to do these events if it wasn't for her just like, yeah, I'll help you do it, or like, no, this is not a ridiculous idea, or like, just do it. Like, you can do this. I believe in you. You know, that is meaningful shit. So.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
And shout outs to the homies, obviously. And shout outs to CBD Ginger Beer. I could do this all day. So
it's like, okay, we're done. No, yeah, that's about it. I normally ask where can people find and support you and shout outs, but we already did that. Thank you for coming out to the party if you did.
Hell yeah.
Yet again. There will be more. Please keep coming out. Get on that mailing list if you're not already.
I'm on it.
He's fucking on it. That's facts. Hit me up if you want an easy way to get on it without having to go to the page yourself. I can make it easy for you. I will. I want to. If you are on that mailing list, you know the guests that are going to be on the show for the next 2 weeks. So you are in the know. You know what's up. Also, if you support us on Patreon, if you give us $5 or more, you will have access to the episodes before they release. So as soon as they are finished, I will upload them before their official release date as audio files onto a patrons only.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's the insider good.
That is facts. So if you want to hear cool shit before it comes out, this will be on there. So go ahead and listen to that before everyone else does. They're also higher tiers than that. You get special messages that you can write to us if you have more than $20 a month for us to read out on the show. And if you give more than 10 or more, then you get access to the master schedule for this year. You get to know who is going to be interviewed for up until the foreseeable future, how far we have it booked. So, because that is not public information. So, if you're interested in that, we do have a Patreon page. And you can find it in the link in our bio on Instagram, or you can go to patreons.com/GabStreetPodcast. You can find us there.
Somebody do it and send a bunch of dirty messages in. Like, I want you to read my, like, nasty message on air.
Oh, I'll fucking do it. I have to.
Like, ASMR, Corey, like...
I'll get Bryn from Revolter to do that, like he did in 55. He did some pretty good ASMR shit there at the end. Oh, man. Hey, let's get a quick pose in.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening this week. We will catch you next Wednesday morning, like every fucking week.
Hell yeah. Good shit.